Hello and welcome to Last to Eat, the show about business owners in San Antonio that are leading others in extraordinary ways. Today, we are doing our continuing crisis management series, which is focusing on business owners and business leaders who are doing innovative things and adapting to the ongoing COVID pandemic. And today, we are joined by Jose Garcia, owner of Mission Tax and Financial Services. Jose, how are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you, Mario. Thank you for the invitation, for having me here and reaching all your audience that I believe is going to be a big audience as we walk through time.
Absolutely. And so full disclosure for people out there who are seeing Jose for the first time, my company has been working with Jose now for a few months. I also believe that you're working with my business partner on her gym, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I'm working with Tanya and Jobim on their business as well.
Yeah, and so we've been in business for 10 years with Samus Ochoa with the PR company, and it's really great to have Jose on board. Hopefully, he's going to whip us into shape because it's been a 10-year process to become more financially responsible, and then with the pandemic happening, and just being prepared for anything that happens in the future. And so it's really nice to be able to talk to you and to learn a little bit more about you. So, Jose, we're closing in on the end of 2020, and this year hasn't been the year that anyone expected or the year that anyone wanted. And, it's created a lot of challenges and a lot of tough times for the local residents, but also for the business owners. And so, in 2020, how have you been challenged? Number one, as a business owner, how have you been challenged? And then secondly, how have you been challenged just as a person, as a human being?
Okay, well, I can tell you that on the business side, I don't really have a reference to compare myself or the business to, because I started the business in December.
That's right.
So it's been a year since I started. So putting myself out there and coming 2020, finding the pandemic started, it's been hard at the beginning. Then it kind of was smoother for me because, believe it or not, I'm in the area where one of the businesses or some businesses really needed help with advice on how to apply for the PPP loan, how to apply for the EIDL, the tax credits. So all of this help, all of this money that was poured from the federal government, the businesses needed a plan, needed to know how to access those funds. So that's where I was able to it was good for the business as a way to summarize it. It's also, I can tell you, I saw many businesses struggle. And even myself, starting my year, even though I had a budget, I started struggling. The first year is always the bad year or the worst year, usually. And so for me, the beginning, the first months, it was kind of hard trying to get clients. But the pandemic, I can tell you, accelerated the clients for me to be able to get in touch with some of them, and then the referral from one to the other.
Yeah. And, I had a lot of conversations with other business owners, and, there were a lot of people who were struggling, a lot of people who were trying to adapt as quickly as possible. But with most businesses, you were on the front line. I mean, when you talk about a person's finances, when it comes to their business, that's their lifeblood. If they don't have the money and the resources, they can't keep their staff, or they maybe can't even keep their business open. And so, when those people were coming to you, that's a very emotional and very sensitive thing. How are you able to guide them through their financial responsibilities and maybe the loan process? I mean, it's a little bit like being not only a CPA, but it's also kind of like being a business therapist, right?
Right. Yeah. It's taking therapy to the next level where we are advising this entity that doesn't exist, that is very abstract, but somebody is tied to it. Usually I work with small businesses, so they sometimes a lot of the time they are the business themselves, and so they don't really have a separation from the business. Whatever they do, freelancing, driving for Uber, construction, it's themselves. It's work that they do themselves.
I'm glad
And
you
so
brought
the
up.
way,
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I'm glad you brought up Uber. I can't tell you how many Uber rides I've been in this year where I was riding with a business owner. I had
yeah,
several Uber drivers who owned bars and restaurants near where I live. I live in the Southtown King William area. And I was like, whoa. I mean, but it was people doing what they had to do.
mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And I can tell you that most businesses that got hurt, it's basically services. For example, the hair salons. I
Mm-hmm.
have a few clients that they have come back to semi-normal, but it's not the same as before. People are still hesitant to go out, get a haircut. They may just let the hair grow. And that's what happened for a few months. A lot of us were with big hair. So,
Yeah.
and during that time, they didn't have any financial income or any income coming to their business, to their pockets.
Yeah.
And so it was hard times. Some of them may not be able to make it. But then on the other side, I see also like construction businesses that are doing very, very well, and especially because of the housing market.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have all these kind of pockets of different business industries where some of them have been able to adapt. I think retail was one that also suffered a lot. And one client I have, she was very quick to switch to sales through online, Facebook live sales, and it's been working for them. It's been challenging at trying to adapt, but definitely it was a hit for the retail sector.
Wow. So you bring up a big word this year, adapt. You talked about how your clients have adapted, some of them. How about you? You know, you started out in December of 2019, and you got hit really quickly with this. How have you adapted? Have you changed your marketing strategy, how you approach clients, you know, how you run your own business? What have you done to adapt as a CPA during these times?
Yeah, so the way that I have approached this, at the beginning, I had a kind of a fantasy that, you know, the clients are just gonna come, I open the door and they are gonna be there. Well, that was not the case. And so, but slowly meeting one person, trying to see, listen what they really need, and then hearing that they make a referral or to their friends, their family, and then I see their friends or family show up. And then trying to put the most attention on what they really need. Sometimes they don't even say it, but maybe suggesting that there's something better that they can do, especially in businesses where they may need to just switch a little bit, save a few $1,000s a year, or stuff that they didn't know they could do. And so one thing that I was quick to offer was the PPP assistance on completing that application, offering the information to them. They don't keep, most of the people that are business owners that I work with, they don't keep themselves on the reading or on the requirements, what's going on, the law. So it was kind of, they needed an interpretation of what was really needed, what was the overview and the process, walking them through the process. So that's how I adapted that, like that advising service. I didn't see it coming. I didn't have it in my mind when I started, but I adapted to offer it because I saw that as an avenue for them to get the benefit. And with everything that was going on, it was just common sense for me.
While we're talking about the PPP, because I think a lot of people who watch this might be curious, do you anticipate a second round of PPP sometime in the near future?
I do. I do think that we're gonna get a second round. I think right now is more of a political, you know, dance. So
it's a tug of
we
war
will,
right now. Yeah.
yeah. So we will see something coming up probably next year, 2021,
Okay.
when we have a more uniform platform where maybe the new government or even the the one that is currently in office. But it's just trying to decide, time it to that political work. But I mean, we are in the middle, businesses are in the middle. Meanwhile, we wait, and here we are.
I know that feeling of feeling stuck. And when that does happen, let's say it's a month from now or 3 months from now, I mean, you guys will be prepared to help guide people through that process again, right?
Yeah, I think we will be better prepared, especially because it will be a second round. And even the clients themselves, the business owners themselves will be more prepared, will know what is needed, etc. So it will be, I think, smoother. And I also think it will be more targeted, the new PPP loan.
Absolutely.
And not so, because what happened was the PPP loan, it was just pouring money into the economy. And it was whoever catches it is like you catch it.
There was also a lot of fraud. There was a lot of things happening that that needs to be cleaned up this time around. And I want to. Yeah, please.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say.
I was going to. Yeah, go ahead.
I think we had a little stutter. No, go ahead and finish your point, Jose.
Oh, I was gonna mention, add to that I met people, business owners, back in August, September, where they didn't even learn about the PPP. So I was surprised that, wow, so they own a business, but they didn't even know that had happened. They learned from people later on.
Yeah, and I think that was across the board. So I had the same experience. I try and keep invested in what's going on, but I would tell a lot of people about the PPP or the EIDL or the Bexar County Economic Recovery Grant, the city's Economic Recovery Grant, and I was surprised how many people didn't know. And I think I come from a marketing and PR background. I think there was a lack of execution on the communication, and that's at a government level. And it's hard because you can't expect them to be really good at marketing, right? Because they're government officials, they're government agencies, but they fail to, I think, communicate to the people that, the majority of people that needed it the most, I don't think knew that it was happening. And so, or they were confused about the rules and the regulations. And so hopefully that gets cleaned up in the future, but that's the future. But I want to roll back the tape a little bit. You know, you and I have talked a little bit, and you have over a decade in finance, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, so prior to this, you were working in the industry. You decided to start your own CPA firm. You know, but it's all we're always learning as business owners. You know, whether we're employed by somebody or we have our own business. For you, how do you continue to educate and empower yourself as a business owner and also as a professional CPA? What are the steps and the things that you do, Jose?
Well, I would start with the basic one. To be able to hold the CPA license active, we are required to get education, professional education every year. So that's one thing that I need to do. It's 40 hours of education training in different areas of tax, accounting, auditing, and all of the realm of accounting. So I need to cover those 40 every year. Besides that, because that sometimes it's a little too much of just accounting. Besides that, I also like to include some soft skills, like how to communicate with people, how to, you know, in those areas where it's more of a personal growth rather than a knowledge-based or technical.
Yeah, absolutely.
But everything is needed. So it's just taking those classes, maybe sometimes a YouTube channel, following someone who has content that is really good, how to sell, how to speak, how to, those areas that sometimes business owners, and I consider myself there, we need help in that area.
Absolutely. Do you ever find yourself with so many changes in policies and regulations related to tax returns and things like that? Do you ever find yourself in a position where you're like, I like, no more, this is too much? Does it ever feel overwhelming for you as a CPA, as a professional?
Not, I wouldn't say that, like, okay, I'm gonna, the towel, give the towel or
Yeah,
drop
throw in
the
the
towel.
towel. Yeah,
Yeah. It hasn't happened to me yet, and it
yeah.
may be because there's so much in the IRS code that
Hmm.
I don't think any CPA would have the knowledge in their head. So it's like, okay, we cover the most basic ones, and then we, based on the clients we have, the niche of the industries they have, we kind of see what credits, what areas of the IRS code applies to our niche or clients. So it's kind of a dance between what we're working on, what
Yeah,
projects, what clients, what industries, and then is it my interest to learn also? So kind of opening the window there, see what's in there. But
yeah.
as far as getting confused or just saying this is too much, maybe a little bit in 2018,
Yeah,
when the IRS rules changed a lot.
yeah,
But nowadays we have software, we have technology that helps that the human CPA reach areas where we wouldn't be able to
yeah. And I think,
reach.
yeah, and I think with that question, I may be projecting a little bit because I'm the one that gets overwhelmed. I'm like, it's like, give it to Jose now. Just let him do his thing. Speaking of, your past and now owning your own company, you must have learned a lot, especially about leadership. For you, Jose, and it's different for everybody, but for you, in a couple of sentences, how would you describe good leadership? What makes a good business leader or a good business owner, or somebody that other people want to work for and work with?
I think a leadership is someone with the capacity to respond, with the ability to respond to whatever it's in the context, in the environment. So
Yeah,
being able to read others included in the context, like another person, a business, being able to read what they need, but also the context or the industry itself, and also the geography. So it's being able to read all of these different components and deliver something to the other that is going to help them reach areas that they wouldn't be able to reach without a CPA or
yeah.
a marketing agency. Yeah.
Hey, thank you for the drop there, the marketing agency. Thank you.
Yeah.
So obviously, we may be looking at another round of PPP. We're definitely about to enter tax season after this month is over. So for business owners and for individuals out there who want to talk to you about your services, number one, what services do you offer? And then how do people find you?
Yeah, so the services that I currently focus on is tax preparation,
Okay.
bookkeeping, and the tax preparation is for personal and also business.
Okay.
Also the bookkeeping or accounting for their business, if they are a self-employed individual or they have an actual company, retail store, construction. So that also. And then assistance with COVID-19 tax credits or navigating all these kind of benefits. People can also reach me to learn more about that.
Okay.
And that's basically the main areas that I
Gotcha.
that I have focused on.
And is there a phone number or contact information that you'd like to give people?
Sure. The phone number is 210-332-5111. And also the website, I have a website that you can visit. I have a few articles there where you can learn more about COVID-19 benefits. I have a few articles about just general tax knowledge. So the website is www.missiontaxfinancial.com.
Awesome, awesome. And for those who are watching this at home, we'll have some graphics on screen so that way they can copy down the number and the website again. But that sound, Jose, means we're coming up to the end of our show. We really want to thank you for spending the time with us. Before we let you go, we're going to put you in the ringer and run you through the big three, our pop culture and trivia question and answer session. So Jose, the way this works, we ask you 3 questions that you're not prepared for. For every correct answer that you give, we're going to donate $20 to the charity of your choice. And the charity that you're playing for today is?
The charity is Transplants for Children.
Awesome. Can you tell people just a little bit about Transplants for Children and what they do?
Yeah, so Transplants for Children is a nonprofit that is here in San Antonio, and they help individuals, especially kids, children, who are going to get a transplant, organ transplant, or already got the transplant. So it's kind of assisting them in their needs, what they need, and looking for resources where they can approach those resources to the families and the children who are going through that.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful organization. My company has worked with them in the past. They've changed the lives of a lot of families. All right. Are you ready for this, Jose? All right, question number 1.
As ready as I can be. Okay, go ahead.
Which is to say not ready at all, because you don't know any of these. All right, Jose. Which of these cities in Mexico is not a sister city to San Antonio? And I'll give you 3 options. A, Monterrey, B, Guadalajara, or C, Mexico City. Which of those 3 cities is not a San Antonio sister city? Monterrey, Guadalajara, Mexico City.
I would go with Mexico City.
That is absolutely correct. Mexico City is not a sister city to San Antonio. Monterrey and Guadalajara are official sister cities. All right, that's $20 in the bank for Transplants for Children. Question number 2, Jose. Who was the first CPA in the United States of America? Was it Frank Broker? Was it Joseph Hardstone? Or was it Charles Schwab? The first official CPA in the United States. And I'll give you the year. It was 1893.
Wow, that's something I should know, but I don't.
That's okay. If you want to just take a guess. Frank Broker, Joseph Hardstone, or Charles Schwab?
I'm gonna go with Joseph.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
That is incorrect, but very, very close. So Frank Broker is officially the first CPA in the United States. So the way it was set up in 1893 was if you had previous experience as a CPA, you were grandfathered in without taking the exam. So you became official CPA. Joseph Hardstone was the first CPA who actually passed the CPA exam. That was 3 years later. That was 3 years later in 1896. So you were half correct.
Very cool.
All right. The last question is, now you're familiar with the San Antonio River, of course. All right.
Yes.
But a lot of people don't know that the headwaters for the San Antonio River, the beginning source, is located on one of our college campuses. Which college is it? Is it the University of the Incarnate Word? Is it Our Lady of the Lake University? Or is it St. Mary's University? Where is the headwaters for the San Antonio River located?
It's going to be in UIW.
That is correct.
University of the Incarnate Word.
That is. And do you by chance know its nickname?
No, I don't.
It's called the Blue Hole.
Oh,
the Blue Hole. And so I went to UIW, and that's where a lot of students went to go do their 420, if you know what I mean.
I worked in the UIW, so that's why I know. Yeah, I
awesome, man.
There, so.
Well, that is another $20. And you know what? What the heck? We're going to go ahead and give the full 60 to Transplants for Children on behalf of Mission Tax and Financial Services.
Thank you for your generosity. I think they are going to appreciate it.
Absolutely. And so, again, we want to thank you, Jose Garcia, owner of Mission Tax and Financial Services. We will have your information on screen so people can give you a call for tax season. And to everyone out there who tuned in, we want to thank you for listening to Last to Eat Crisis Management. Thank you for spending time with us, and thank you for listening to our show. And until we connect again, we hope your place in life is one of leadership. Jose, thank you so much. I will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Mario, and everyone.